Why am I still wearing this shirt? I've already shot 3 other videos wearing this shirt. Is this yesterday? Did I already film this yesterday and I'm just now publishing it? Wait, what day is it for you? This is really confusing. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We need to look for clues. Oh, there's a clue, actually. Maybe this will help us out. It's a comment that I received on a video I made called Balding Young, Girls Don't Want a Better Looking Partner. Dean Nixon, who's never left a comment here before that I've responded to, Dean Nixon had this to say, quote, I'm 20 years old, almost 21, and I think I'm balding. My hairline is receding and has been a few years. Just recently I switched out my pillowcase and every day I wake up there are about 8 to 10 hairs on it. This is the first time I've noticed hair in the shower again, about 8 to 10 hairs. Is this normal? I read online that you lose 50 to 100 hairs per day, end quote. All right, well, you're 20, almost 21. Back when I was 20, it was 2001. You know, the whole September 11th thing, that happened when I was 20. But anyway, let's talk, is this normal is what he's asking me. And here's what I'm gonna say. Based on me thinking back to that time, I'm gonna say that yes, it is normal. This is what I'm gonna say. I remember that happening back then. What's funny is, as a 36-year-old man who's Norwood 3 and definitely has thinning, I don't notice hairs on my pillow anymore. And I don't really notice hairs in the shower, because those are comments I get a lot on this channel. Is it normal to have hair on your pillow and hair on the shower? And I already know that Maxwell Smart and Robert are going to tell us more information that's probably better than what I can give you. But here's my speculation on this. I speculate that when you have more hair, because they have less hair by default. We've made videos before. I made videos before explaining how by the time you notice that you've got thinning, you've already lost about half of your hair. So in theory, up here, I've got half the amount of hair that a younger guy would have who's got no thinning. So with that being said, if you've got more hair, it makes sense that you'd be shedding more. Now, in addition to that, you may have a receding hairline, which I'm theorizing could actually be unrelated to the hair that you're shedding. So could it make sense in theory that a guy like me doesn't really shed much hair that I can really see, whether I'm washing my hair, drying it? I don't see a lot of shedding going on. In reality, I've got less hair to shed. So if you have more hair, you're shedding more hair, you're gonna notice more hair shedding. To me, that makes sense. That may not be the right answer, but that's based on what I see. So what I'm gonna tell you is this, and I know I recently made a video talking about how thinning is so much worse. I have a college degree in English, and I said more worse. I made a video already talking about how thinning is that much worse than a receding hairline. What I would suggest personally to you, though, is I would personally suggest that you assess yourself on the Norwood scale. Take a look and see where you say that you've got a receding hairline, and I get it. At your age, yeah, that's when I was starting to get closer to Norwood too. But what do you mean by receding hairline? Are you just receding on the temples, which is a Norwood 1? Or when you look straight on like this, do you no longer have a flat, straight across hairline? Is it starting to do more of a V shape where it's got the angles? That would be Norwood 2. Of course, I'm Norwood 3 where it's rounded off on the top. So where do you fall on that line? And can you actually notice any thinning? I was age 30 when I hit Norwood 3 and at the same time got thinning. Mine came at the same time. Some guys, I know a guy very well who's Norwood 3 with 0 thinning. That was never me. For me, it was more like I went from Norwood 2 to then I turned age 30, and then suddenly I'm Norwood 3 and I've got thinning. That's how I noticed it. That's how it happened for me. But based on what you're telling me at your age, and you're not telling me that you're noticing any thinning, you only mentioned the receding hairline. Here's what I would predict is happening to you, which was actually similar to what happened to me around your age. I noticed my hairline was starting to go from a Norwood 1 to a Norwood 2 around the age of 21. That's when I really started noticing it, but 0 thinning. And yes, I do remember the shedding. So here's what I predict for you. I predict there's a good chance you're going to look like me when you're 36 and a half years old. I think it sounds like you're kind of on my pacing. So I predict for you, you're not going to go bald anytime soon, but by the time you're in your mid-30s, you'll have a Norwood 3 and you'll have some thinning, but it's not going to look bad. No one in the real world thinks, oh yeah, Nick's losing his hair. They don't think that about me. People who watch my channel, because you're trained to overanalyze me, it's easy to think that, and I help you think that when I show you how thin my hair is at certain points. But that's a pretty good deal, right? If I were prophesying for you to say, you know what, you're not going to be bald by the time you're my age, but you'll be like this, you can accept that, right? Knowing that so many men go bald anyway, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to know that you'd still have this much hair at age 36 and a half. So I'm predicting that's as bad as it's going to get for you based on what you've told me, because again, you've got no thinning right now that you've mentioned. Thanks for leaving that comment, and keep this in mind. For anyone who leaves comments, there's a good chance that I'll do a video for you so that you can help out other people sort out their journey into hair loss.